Let's see if I can. Okay, I think I got it right now. Is it still working? Is it working now? Okay, I'm gonna give it a minute. I think it might be right. See if I killed the echo. Let me know if I killed the echo. Man, I done been on here a whole hour talking to myself. I'm good to go? Okay, man. I've been sitting on here talking a whole hour without audio. So anyway, Jamarius Kersey, 4066, man, I appreciate you. So anyway, I'm going to have to start back from the beginning, man. It looks like I got to start back from the beginning, and I guess I'll go back and edit the video. So I thought this was going to be a short night, and I thought I was about to wrap up, but I'm going to take it back from the top. So first of all, I'd like to thank the people that are here. Let me rewind my notes. So basically what this is this is a recap. This is a recap of some of the things I was talking about yesterday. But of course, I'm going to be talking about some different things too. And I'm telling you, man, I was saying a lot of good stuff. But I'm going to try to fly back through it real quick. So I want to thank everyone. But anyway, what I'm trying to recap and make sure everybody understands is that Black Wall Street is still the goal. That is the main goal, is to create a Black Wall Street. Create some black economic power. Create a place, an environment where we can be safe. To me, worker co-ops are the engine to doing that. That is the best and the quickest way that we can get to where we are trying to go. We're trying to get to East St. Louis. It's the quickest way. Some of us are not, and there's nothing wrong with it. But regardless, because East St. Louis is not the final goal. And to be honest, at this current time, it's not the first destination. It's like we're going to have to take a different route to get to East St. Louis. And that route we're going to have to take is going to take us through a lot of different cities in a lot of different states. Because my goal is to create these worker co-ops there. And again, let me just recap what a worker co-op is. I'm going to use Elon Musk as a reference. Tesla and the whole Elon Musk umbrella, that is not a co-op. I'm pretty sure you already knew that. But that is more of a capitalist employer. That's what he is. He's a capitalistic employer. He's one man that sits at the top and get other people to tell other people what to do and decide on what to pay those people. And he becomes a trillionaire. And a lot of those other people are struggling in this economy. They're struggling. Some of them may be halfway comfortable, but they're not living their best life. Let's put it that way. They're not living their best life. They could be living a much better life than what they're living. But if Tesla and the Tesla umbrella was a worker co-op, that $1 trillion that Elon Musk be sleeping on at night, it would be spread out amongst all those workers, all of his workers, because they all would be owners. They would be workers. They would also all would have a say. And there's a whole lot of things that would be better. This is what we got to understand. If it was that way, and this is how you know that what he's doing is not for the good of America, it's for the good of him. Because if it was for the good of America, let me tell you what a worker co-op, if that was a worker co-op, I can tell you what some of the results would be. It would be better cars, more reliable cars, better looking cars, better technology in those cars. And not only would it be a better car, it would be cheaper. You see what I'm saying? How can you get better and cheaper? How can you get better and cheaper? You can kind of look at it like when your mom at home cooking for the family. Like she making a pie for the family. Maybe she got some of her kids helping make that pie. But she's using the best ingredients. She's using her mama's recipe. And she's putting the best ingredients. You know, she's not putting no preservatives in there. She's not putting no fake stuff. You know, she's using real butter, real flour. You know, she's using all of the real ingredients, fresh fruits. She cooking that thing up. The result is it's going to be a better pie than Walmart. And if she actually used all her ingredients up, it also would be a cheaper pie. You see what I'm saying? And the reason why is because she done the work. She and maybe some of her kids, or whoever helped her, she done the work. She was able to make the decision on what went into it. You know, really about the only bad part in that situation is that she only wanted to make one pie, but she probably had to buy enough ingredients to make 10 pies. But if she did make those 10 pies, per pie it would come out to be cheaper than that one ready-made pie from whatever chain grocery store that she bought it from. They got the preservatives in it and fake sugar, fake everything. Stuff that's gonna end up giving them heart disease and all type of stuff. So what I mean about Elon Musk when I'm referring to Tesla, those workers, they would have more pride, because a lot of us, we just go to work and we just do what we gonna have to do because they don't want to hear what we got to say anyway. We just there doing what the hell it is that we are getting paid to do, to get that check, because we're not invested into the company. The company is not looking out for us. The company really don't care about us. Man, and I'm just thinking about all the stuff that I already said and I missed out on. That y'all missed out on, man, because I was dropping some jewels. And it's going to be hard for me to repeat it. But anyway, a worker co-op is just a better solution, because really, really, I don't know. I'm just checking, man. I'm scared that. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure I get everything right this time. So, I done lost my place, but a co-op is much better. So I'm gonna kind of try to run through it. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get guys around North Carolina to come together, start a worker co-op. What I'm asking everyone else that are viewers to do is to like, share the video. Because the more you like and share, the more it gets into the algorithm, and hopefully it'll get into the algorithms of some of the people here in North Carolina that want to be a part of this Black Wall Street initiative. And maybe they want to join in. Maybe they're in the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Triangle area, and they want to be a part of this. What this is the ground zero. This is where we're going to get the car on the road. Because what I tried to do before was I tried to jump in the car and speed down to East St. Louis, and that car did not have a good engine. It didn't have tires. You know, it's backfiring. It needed tune up. It didn't have enough gas. It was a whole lot of issues. Now, I'm not saying I couldn't have got it there, but I probably would have had to push it there or have it towed there. Either way, it was going to be real expensive. What I'm saying the worker co-op is it's the engine, and we need to get it started here in North Carolina because that's where I reside at. That is what would be most economical for me. This would allow me to work on this plan frequently along with other interested parties, that we can come together and we can start some type of business here in the Triangle. We can start a workers co-op. Now, what I'm saying is the worker co-op works under the same fundamentals as a real estate co-op. All co-ops work under the same fundamentals, right? I'm going to name you some different types of co-ops right quick because it's a lot of different type of co-ops, right? You got worker cooperatives, housing co-ops, food and grocery co-ops, credit union co-ops, like I was talking about earlier, purchasing cooperatives, agriculture co-ops, utility energy co-ops, child care co-ops, artist co-ops, healthcare co-ops, consumer co-ops, platform co-ops, which is basically online businesses owned by the workers. That's what a platform co-op is. And there are other kind of co-ops too. You pretty much can design a co-op for what you need it to be. Like you can have an ass kissing co-op if you want to. If you get enough people together that all want to go into the business of kissing somebody's ass for a profit, you can start a kissing ass co-op. That's the bottom line of it. I mean, you could. Because basically what it is the backbones of whatever you're trying to do. It's the backbones. This is what keeps everything legitimate. This is what makes it an entity. This is what makes everyone an equal owner, operator. This is what gives everybody the one member, one vote. That's the backbone, that the cooperative part. That's what it gives it. So all y'all out there kissing ass, y'all could have that backbone to where all y'all own kissing ass together. And you know, I'm just being silly. But it's really a real example. But worker co-ops are very popular. They're picking up popularity. They've always been popular. They done been around for over a century, I want to say. I'm trying to think. I think definitely back in the late 1800s. Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna look it up right quick so I don't have to. So I don't have to guess. 1844. That was the first widely recognized and successful cooperative model is the Rochdale Society of Equitable Pioneers, founded in 1844 in England by 28 textile weavers and workers. While early experimental mutual aid societies and consumer co-ops existed earlier, such as the Benjamin Franklin 1752 Mutual Fire Insurance Company or the 1769 Fenwick Weaving Cooperative. And just speaking of Benjamin Franklin, I tell you what else he invented. He was the first people to put blackface on television. That's also what he invented. For you guys that don't know, I actually got a video on it. I got a video about it. But that's something else he pioneered in, making fun of black people. So let me go back to my notes. So a lot of people are wondering, well, okay, how does the worker co-op tie into East St. Louis? The worker co-op ties into East St. Louis because it has the same backbone, first of all. That's the first part of it. Two, it creates the possibility of people that want to be involved to design their work environment where they are. Not in East St. Louis, but where they already are. It gives them that opportunity to design and to be in control of their own work environment, their own work rules. And what I mean by that, like you might remember one of my earlier asks when I was first talking about East St. Louis was 25,000 people, $3,000, 75 million in buying power. We stagger going to East St. Louis and working on these buildings after we consume some of the property, you know, maybe even take our vacation days and things like that. See, when I was saying that was a way we had to work around our jobs. We had to make a sacrifice to work around our jobs, what our jobs was going to allow us to do. You see what I'm saying? But when you design your own job, you see what I'm saying? When you design your own job, you don't necessarily have to work around your job design. You can design your job to work around you. So that's one way that it benefits. Another way is it is a business entity. And I'm going to get in that into a minute. I don't want to jump right into it. But East St. Louis, I guess I might as well, hell. East St. Louis already has programs that like to deal with businesses. They like to do business with business entities. They like to give them free stuff. They like to give them cheap stuff. They like to give them discounts. Not so much for the individual, even though, man, I'm about to show y'all some properties here in a minute, so just stay tuned. I'm gonna show y'all some properties, man, and y'all ain't gonna believe. I don't know where y'all from, but here in North Carolina, these prices are unheard of. You ain't gonna find nothing like that. Like what I'm talking about, if you've seen the thumbnail, $786. If you think I'm BSing, just stay tuned. Just stay tuned. Just stay locked in. I'm gonna show you here in a minute. I got the receipts. So anyway, just to run back though, I'm recapping. Black Wall Street is still the goal. Worker co-ops are the engine to that goal. East St. Louis is still part of the vision. But not just East St. Louis, because our goal is not just to get East St. Louis. East St. Louis is a unique case. You see what I'm saying? East St. Louis is a unique case. And I'm going to explain why. Let's just say, for instance, if we were trying to do the same thing in the triangle right here, like we were trying to do the exact same thing in the triangle area that we were trying to do in East St. Louis. Now remember, I was saying 25,000, and to be honest, we actually could have done it with 20,000 people. We might have could have done it with 19,000 people. Because I believe the current population was like 17 or 18,000. See, the reason for so many people is because we would be the majority. That gives us political power because we will automatically come in and we could control the vote. We could control who who got elected. If we all voted together, we could control the political landscape. We could become the political landscape. I mean, because we would, with that many people, we over 50% of the people, we have over a 50% chance of becoming police officers, becoming mayors, becoming judges, becoming firemen, becoming members of the zoning board. We have over a 50%. You see what I'm saying? We have over a 50% chance of becoming that just by numbers alone. You know, so that's what I was saying. And with just 20,000 people, even though I was saying 25,000, but with just 20,000 people, to do that in the triangle, we would need 2.5 million people. And then it's probably not enough space for 2.5 million. See, this area is not declining like that. The difference with East St. Louis, it used to have 80,000 people. At one point in time, it had 100,000 people. But I think since like the 1950s, it was like at 80,000. Kind of like it stabilized at around 80,000 people. But then the population started shrinking down to under 20,000 people, you see. So we already know for a fact that there's room in East St. Louis for 80,000 people because it once had 80,000 people. That's gone now. They're gone. So that's the unique case about East St. Louis. Because it's literally not a Black Wall Street, it's a Black Wall City. You see, it's not a street. It's us having control over a city, a pretty good sized city. I mean, there's plenty of cities that are larger, but it's us really achieving something that we have. I mean, we have had all black towns before, over 150 of them. to be exact, before they came and done whatever they done to destroy those. But for the most part, that was always the downfall when you got to the political power part, is that we didn't have control over that part. You see, this East St. Louis is a way that we can actually have control over that whole thing. You see what I'm saying? That's the big difference. And that's why it's a unique case. There's other cities with declining populations, but it didn't decline enough to where people can come in and become the majority, you see. And then also East St. Louis is 93% black already. So it's, I mean, you know how we are. You know, each one teach one. We get down there, I'm pretty sure they'll be, I mean, I don't think they're going to be hating. You see what I'm saying? I don't think they're going to be like, get them out of our neighborhood. That's, I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's a different vibe. So that's what makes it a very, very, very unique situation. I don't think we're going to find one more unique than that. You see, I mean, I know it's places everywhere with declining populations, but not one that's already 93% black, and not one that has such an abundance of room that if it was filled, it would, whoever filled it would become the majority. More people can come than exist, is what I'm basically trying to say. In fact, in this case, 4 to 5 times amount more people can fit in there than is there. Or I guess to make it resonate even better, 400 times more people can come. It's enough room for 400 times more people, 400 to 500 more times people to come there. Yeah, there are some great places in Mississippi. I didn't put the application up. I'm sorry, I didn't put the application up because what I'm really trying to do is to make sure people understand. That's what I plan on spending the next few weeks before I throw that application up, before I pressure anybody. I wanted to gather some interest around the idea of North Carolina. Now, I understand about East St. Louis, but I'm trying to gather interest for North Carolina. I'm not asking anybody to move to North Carolina. I'm looking for people in North Carolina, and not even a lot of people. I'm not even looking for, I mean, I would like a lot of people. But to be honest, we could do something with 2 or 3 people. Because creating that worker co-op here in North Carolina, where I'm at, it's the same fundamentals that we're working on. You see, we are creating that cooperative. That's the bottom line. We were creating the backbone, and we're working out the bugs. We're figuring out what's bylaws, like we're not talking about it anymore. We're actually doing it. We're actually saying, okay, well, we need this rule. We need that rule. We need to make sure this happens. We need to make sure that don't happen. These are some of the hurdles we're going to have to jump over. These are some of the things that's going to be easy to do. These are some of the things that's going to be difficult to do. This is how much money we're going to need. And it's a working prototype. It's a working prototype that, let's just say, if we do go to Mississippi, I can go to Mississippi and say, hey, I can say, look, we already did it. We've already did it. We have a successful business in North Carolina. It's already done. But we also can go to East St. Louis and we can say, hey, look, you give us some of that property for free, and we'll bring you some of the things that you are looking for. You're trying to increase your tax base, because the more people in East St. Louis, cause that's what we got to understand too. Now, when I say it's room for 400 times more people, we also got to realize they lost 400 times their income over that period. You see what I'm saying? That's what has happened. They have lost 400 times what they used to make. So they need people to come. That's the bargaining chip. That's the reason why they had, I hadn't been talking about it in this episode, but I did, but I was muted. But they have a revitalization program. They have a tax incentive program. They have a land auction program where they auctioning off land, which I'm going to show you some video here in a minute. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and do it because time is kind of moving by. I don't think I'm going to be able to cover all the ground that I was wanting to cover today because I already covered it. My mic was just muted. So I think I'm going to get in that today, but I'm really trying to get people to understand this North Carolina part. But I will. That's what I will do the next time is I will put the form up. I will put the form up. And I'll just start putting it up every time. But to be honest, I looked today and it's only one person. They actually filled it out twice. But it's only one person, and I want to say they're from Chicago by way of Texas, if I'm correct. And I was really waiting for it to get, and I thought this would be. I mean, to be honest, I thought it was going to be kind of simple. I thought it was going to be less of a demand because, like I say, when I went back and dug in the bag, when I went back and looked at everything I said, the thing I have to do is I have to check myself constantly because I'm ambitious. You see, I'm very ambitious. People don't have to talk me to death. In fact, that's usually what I say. Don't talk me to death. Let's do it. You know, that's the type of person I am. Like anytime somebody wants to work together, and once I get the main idea, that's usually what I say. You don't got to talk me to death. Let's do it. Actions speak louder than words. That's kind of the way that I am. So, but I understand that's not the way everybody is. It's not the way everybody is. I also have to understand that I may be, I know I'm a unique case. To be honest, and not trying to toot my own horn or nothing, but I know I have to be unique, or either I have to be the worst explainer in the world, one of the two. Because I got some success stories. But I've never tried to do anything by myself. Every single endeavor that I ever took, I always tried to get other people to come on board and do it with me. And sometimes it was their ideas. That's what I'm saying. It was sometimes somebody brought an idea to me and I started doing it because they started procrastinating. And I started doing it. I'm like, man, are you gonna come on? Are you gonna do what you said you wanted to do? I mean, I done this, I done that, I done this, I done that. Man, you the one said you wanted to do it. You know, and then, oh man, well, right now ain't a good time, and man, I'm going through this right now. And I'm the type, once you get me going, I'm gone. I mean, but there's plenty of times I come up with, there are times that I have came up with ideas and tried to get people on board. I mean, and a lot of times people close to me, you know, my ex-wife, brothers, sisters, childhood friends, people that already know I have a track record. Now, I understand not taking everybody's word for everything. But sometimes there's a way you can judge people. Sometimes you can be like, well, he done done this before, and he done done that before. I done seen he done done all that before. So maybe I should believe him, just off of GP, because he's been right more than he's been wrong. But what usually happens is I try to get people on board with a plan, and they'll say they ready, and they'll say they want to, but they never commit to it. And then I'll do it. Like one of my endeavors I done now it's about 19 years ago, about 19, 18 years ago, one of the businesses I started back then, and I had for 13 years. Man, I tried to get one of my friends to jump on this idea with me, and we both was in a bad predicament, to be honest, no cap. We both were kind of in a bad predicament, but his predicament was better than mine. I mean, we didn't have like money hand over fist, but I proposed this idea to him, and which was the manufacturing food trucks. And it was nothing I could do to convince him. And he was a childhood friend. So I was like, I know he know my track record. And I just could not get him to bait. And then like 3 years later, I had it up and running, and he wanted to be part of it. You know, and he got upset with me when I told him, you can be an employee. I mean, if you need a job, you can be an employee. But to be honest, the hard part is over with. The sacrifice is over with. I'm not sacrificing now. I'm profitable. That's really the only thing that it has to offer. I don't see how you can fit in. I mean, you don't have a chunk of money to buy in. The best I can do is hire you as an employee. Oh man, and he took offense to that. But sometimes you have to be there. I mean, that's who benefits. The person that is there at the beginning, when it's just a vision. When it's just a vision that is invisible. And that's what this worker co-op is right now. It's something that's invisible. There's nothing that's concrete. It's just words that's coming out of my mouth. Nothing that you can see. It's nothing that you can see. It's just words that's coming out of my mouth. But these words have to be followed up by actions. And these actions and efforts will lead into something concrete and physical, and lead into a profit, which in return will lead into putting that engine in the car, will lead into creating more worker co-ops, and lead into purchasing property down there in East St. Louis. So that's what I'm trying to do, is make sure people can see the vision. Because I know I see it. I see it clear as day. But I'm trying to draw it out clearer. So anyway, I'll go back over my notes one more time, but I feel like I definitely have to pick up the pace. I just definitely missed out when I had that mic off. I don't know. I already talked about socialism. I'm not sure if I did this time. I think I kind of talked roughly on it, but when it comes to elections, I'm for Bernie. I'm for Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders is pro co-op. He is for individuals owning stuff rather than a business being owned by a few. Like, he's trying to change it from 1% own 99% of the wealth. You know, that's not good. He's trying to put the money where it should be, because things are better. I'm not sure if I told you, if I finished talking about Elon, but let me go ahead and finish talking about Elon. If that was a worker co-op, it would be better cars, cheaper cars, happier workplace, a better design workplace. The reason why, everybody would have a reason to make it better. That's the thing about the worker co-op. Like at your job, you don't got a reason to make it better. You can make it better all you want to, but your paycheck still look the same. You didn't put in all this extra work. They already underpaying you. You didn't put in all this extra work and didn't get nothing in return. And then they still treating you like shit. Every time you turn around, making you fear. Just a ton of stuff. So that sole reason alone, people are invested. They understand, like, let's just say, for instance, let's say it's some type of assembly place, and a worker make a mistake and knock over a bucket of screws, and they go everywhere. They go up under stuff. Now, when you ain't the person that bought those nuts, you don't care. You ain't trying to fish them out from up under the machine. For what? Because it don't put one penny in your pocket. But as an owner, I remember going through this with my business all the time. We use a lot of rivets. But anyway, let me hear. But as a owner, you understand that affects the bottom line. You being part of that worker co-op, you understand, because you see the statements at the end of the month, and you see that y'all budget for nuts is $700, and you just knocked over $300 worth of nuts. So you already know when that statement come at the end of the month, it ain't gonna be $700 y'all spent on nuts. It's gonna be $1,000 y'all spent on nuts, which also means your share is gonna be less. What you make is gonna be less. So you are more entitled to not only pick up those nuts, but you more willing to think about why the nut spilled over in the first place. You're probably going to think about, like, how can I avoid knocking these nuts over in the future? But not just me, as well as my co-worker owners. How can we find a better way to store these nuts so they don't get knocked over and they don't spill out and we don't affect the bottom line? Let's figure out a solution. You more willing to think about it, because when you think about it and when you solve that problem, it helps you. It helps you because you are an owner of that company. Or just say, for instance, you shutting down the company. Just say where you work at and you leave the air conditioner on, you leave the lights on. You the last person there. You leave the air conditioner on, you leave the lights on, and you work for somebody. You don't give a damn. Say you get halfway home and you be like, oh man, I left the lights on. I left the air conditioner on. And it's a Friday. You don't got to come back to Monday. And it ain't your business. What you gonna do? I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go home. You think I'm gonna go back off the clock and turn that air conditioner off and turn those lights off and then have to fight traffic to get back home? It ain't my business. Hell, they ain't paying me enough anyway. They can kiss the crack of my... I'm not going. But if it's my business, I can be in bed, sleep. I can be made it all the way home, in bed, sleep. And I'm going to be like, damn. And I wake up, bam, man, I left the air conditioner on. I left the lights on. Let me go back and cut that shit off. So it automatically makes it a better company. You see what I'm saying? And it may be another way that you can solve that problem anyway. It may be somebody you can call that lives closer to you. Maybe somebody that lives a few blocks away. Hey man, Billy, man, hey look, man, I left the lights and the air conditioner on, man. Can you go over there and cut it off? Now he gonna be thinking too, well damn, it's gonna affect the bottom line if I don't. It's gonna affect my paycheck if I don't. Because I'm an owner too. Let me go over there and cut that shit off. You see, you are more entitled. But then not only that, both of y'all gonna be thinking like, how can we come up with a way to make sure that we never leave the lights and air conditioning on anymore? Let's make sure that that never ever happens, because it affects the bottom line. So you put in timers, you put in a schedule on that thing, or you put it like where you can check the stuff from your phone. You figure out a solution to it, because the solution benefits you. You see what I'm saying? The solution benefits you. So that's how Tesla would be better if it was a worker co-op, because they would find better ways to build a car. They would find smarter ways to build a car. They would find cheaper ways to build a car. They would find better supply. I'm gonna give you a couple examples from my business. Like when I was manufacturing food trucks, one of the problems that I had was with rivets. And the workers just didn't care. Because of course they had to come to me to get another box of rivets. These rivets wasn't cheap neither, but they had to come to me to get another box of rivets. And I could just do the math in my head, like, dang, now they only done 3 trucks. I did 3 trucks, shouldn't have took that many rivets. And I'll go walk through the truck, the ones that have already had the rivets put in them, and I'm just picking up rivets all around it. I'm picking up just hundreds of rivets that they never even used, that's just all up in the cracks and all on the ground and everywhere else. To be honest, this one day I stepped on one and it went clean through my foot. So it also was a safety hazard. And I found a solution because it was my business. But they didn't care. You see what I'm saying? They didn't care about finding a solution for the rivets being spilled. And they didn't care about the safety hazard neither. But me as the owner, I cared about both, because one thing I also knew, if they got hurt the same way I got hurt, they gonna sue me. So you look for solutions. And there was another thing I did, and I just wanted to show you how, if my company was a worker co-op, how it worked better. I was always busy manufacturing. But what I had to do once a year was I would have to go through and find new vendors. If my memory is correct, it was a total of 544 different SKUs that I use to produce a truck. And what I would do once a year, generally like at the end of the year or right before at the end of the year, I would go through all those screws and try to find better vendors with cheaper prices to bring the manufacturing costs down. And there wasn't a year that I didn't get that price down. Every single year I was able to get it down. But if that was a worker co-op, I never would have had to wait to the end of the year. That could have been something that was being achieved weekly or monthly, because I'm not the only one that have to do that type of stuff. It would have been other owner operators that actually would have benefited from getting those prices down, so they didn't have to go a whole entire year paying for material at a higher price than they had to. And this made a significant difference on the price. I mean, it normally just going down through those 544 parts, like within a year, it probably Probably was a difference of $30,000 or $40,000 throughout the year. Like just finding those small price adjustments. Within a year, there was probably a price difference of $30,000 or $40,000. And it was a lot of things that I couldn't implement. I remember like a lot of people, that's what your friends always say, and it's what I did one time until I started doing my own businesses. And some of you may do it. You see somebody else with a business and you say, man, if this is my business, I'll do this. And I'll do that. Man, you could save some money if you would do this. Or man, you need to look into doing that. You'll tell them how to run their business. Well, I'll tell you what they thinking. No, you won't. This is what we're thinking. No, you won't. Because that ain't the only thing you had to do. If that's the only thing I had to do, yeah, I'd be working on that. I would do that if that's the only thing I had to do. But I got 5 million other things I got to do before I can even think about doing that. And that's what we don't see when we're on the outside looking in. But that's what a worker co-op would see. With everyone actually knowing everything that's going on, knowing what would affect the business and what would benefit the business, that would improve it. See, and that's why I say the cars would be cheaper. The Teslas would be cheaper if it was a worker co-op. Because there's workers out there knocking stuff up under the machines, knocking screws up under the machine. There's probably something going on that's probably damaging part of the car, and it's probably something that they have to eat in cost somehow. It's probably little things happening all around that plant, that is affecting the company's bottom dollar. And Elon Musk has no idea about it. I'm pretty sure he probably is the least knowledgeable. And this is no knock to Elon. This is anybody in that position. It could be me in that position. Because I say it about my current job all the time. I was like, the owner has no idea what's going on. That's what I always say, because they be fucking up this business. And I be like, I guarantee you the owner has no idea this shit is going on. And that's usually the way the workers are. When you think about it, you be like, I know there is no way in hell the owner knows that this shit going on. And it's costing the owner all type of money, but he is okay because he's still getting his, but he don't realize how much more he could get. As a worker co-op, all of the BS goes out the window. So that's why I'm saying it would be better cars. And it's probably the same thing. Like whoever is responsible for sourcing the parts for Teslas or whatever other business he got, they ain't concerned about doing it. I mean, they are doing what they are told to do. And the person that's telling them what to do, a person that's giving them a description of what they need to do, ain't never done it. You see what I'm saying? They ain't never done it. They don't understand that it could be, whether it can be done better or more efficiently or not. They don't understand that. They just trying to achieve it. And it's a waste. And you can look at the government. Governments in general is a perfect example. It was like one guy that was out there fixing potholes somewhere. I'm going to kind of just throw the prices in there so you can get the gist of it, because I don't recall. But he was like out there fixing potholes. He was somewhere. I don't remember what city or anything. But this place was just flooded with potholes everywhere. And these places was taking like 2-3 years to fix one pothole. So this man decided to do it out of his own pocket. And he was out there fixing potholes for like $50, where it was causing the local government like $20,000 to do it. Because it's that long chain of command. It's all these people that really don't know what's going on. And then The thing is really simple. It was like one time they were buying chairs, like they was buying chairs like this for like $20,000 when they was only worth like 200. You see, it's so many people that don't care because to care doesn't benefit them. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to go ahead and roll to the video. East St. Louis. Basically what I want to do, I think this is what to be honest, a lot of people are interested in anyway. If they want to see some proof to that thumbnail that I'm talking about. So here we go. Well, basically what I did, this is the website that I went to, Illinois tax, I can't even read it. What is it? Illinois tax sales bids. First of all, I'm going to pause it here for a minute. Now, the first thing I want you guys to notice now, one of the first things I want you to notice is this is St. Clair County, which is East St. Louis. That's the county that it's in. And then what I also want you to notice, hold on, let me do a transition. What I also want you to notice is the minimum bid. You see that $786 over there? It's the minimum bid. Now, I basically just screenshotted my computer from earlier, so I'm gonna go ahead and let the video continue playing. But it's showing me basically clicking on certain properties. I think it was a while before okay, so here what I'm doing is I'm highlighting an address. This is one that's up, and then I'm taking that. Okay, I'm making sure that it's actually a single address. I'm trying to find a single address because some of the addresses are like, you can tell that they talking about a certain area because it got two addresses on. Like it'll be at the front of this and the back of this. But anyway, what I'm doing is taking those addresses when it's a single address and I'm putting it into Google Earth, and then I'm just doing a generic Google search, clicking on it, and you can see some of these properties that are starting bids are at $786. And here goes a location right here. Now, I'm not saying that the place don't need no work, but you tell me if it's not worth $786. That's what I want to know. Tell me if it's not worth $786. And I'm going to show you some past auctions as well, because you might say, okay, well, that's the price that it's starting at. That don't mean it's the price that it's going for. So I done this earlier, so I don't have no control over the video right now. I don't have no control over the video. It was just what I was doing at the time. So I can't really speed through it. But both of these properties are for sale, according to my investigation. But there's also going to be a point where I go back into the documents and I'm looking at past sales. I'm looking from sales from the history. And you're going to see the highest price that I seen was $6,000. But you're also going to see where I seen structures. Damn, I didn't include it. I think I'm going to say that for tomorrow or the next time I do a live. It may be Wednesday. But I want y'all to tap back in because I'm going to show y'all some $1,000 houses, some $4,000 houses, $5,000 houses. I'm going to show you a $20,000 house that don't need nothing. It's a nice house. It's ready to move in. It got a garage. I mean, from where I'm from, the garage by itself, because it's a standalone garage, The garage by itself. That's what your $20 would get you, possibly. Maybe. Probably not. Not if you actually including the land that is owned. You probably wouldn't get that garage for $20,000, not including the land that it's owned. You might get the garage by itself or the materials to actually build that garage on some land that'll probably cost you another $20,000. But I'm going to save that for tomorrow. I'm going to show you all of these houses. Today, I'm kind of showing you commercial buildings. Tomorrow, I'll be showing you, or I'm not going to say it's tomorrow. I can't guarantee. Probably not tomorrow. Tomorrow's kind of a hectic day. I actually got to go in earlier than normal to the slave ship. I got to get on the slave ship earlier than normal tomorrow. And so I don't know. That's basically what I'm doing is because I'm looking at the geography myself. Because I don't know if you're paying attention, but I'm trying to kind of show you where it's laid out, and I'm kind of showing you where some things are and what they might be. Now, I'm not sure if I'm correct about this, but these buildings that I'm over right now, I know down my way, this would be the projects. That's what those type of buildings would be. That would be the projects. That's what they look like around these parts in North Carolina. I mean, I could be wrong about East St. Louis, but if you recall my video from yesterday, I said that one thing I liked about East St. Louis is that it was very, very similar to the vibe I got from it, the layout, the land, everything kind of felt real familiar to North Carolina. So anyway, I'm gonna give you a few minutes just to kind of look, because that's basically what I'm gonna be doing is looking at the properties. Then I'm gonna go back to this bid sheet and I'm gonna find some more property. I'm probably not going to get through the whole list of it today because it's a lot of them. The buildings get bigger. The buildings get bigger for this $786. Like those two that you were looking at are probably the two smallest ones that are going to be shown. But this is a kind of lengthy video. It's about 30 more minutes left, and I'm probably not going to show the whole video today for time's sake. It's getting kind of late. I had already planned on having this wrapped up, to be honest, by 8:30. But because I talked for a whole hour without a microphone, we here. So anyway, while that's kind of going on, I still want to talk to you about the worker co-op in North Carolina. Well, let me let you look at the sheet. If you can see, like here, I'm looking at upcoming auctions. I don't know. I'm going back and forth. I'm kind of filling it out because it's kind of confusing, but I think I'm about to go down and I'm about to click on some of the past bids. I believe that's what it say. I can't read it from here because, of course, it's tiny from where I'm looking at it on my screen. It's real tiny. It's not taking up the whole screen. But if I'm correct, these are, yeah, I can see it at the top. It says sales results. So we can actually see that some of these properties have already sold. And if you can look, you can see you can see the prices. A lot of them are vacant lots. Like that one, it looks like it's $1,000 some odd, but you can't get no vacant lots, especially city property. You can't get no vacant lots where I'm from. In the city, you probably talking about, where I'm from, you probably talking about 200, 300K. Maybe. I mean, it wouldn't be surprised for it to be $1 million. But I want you to look at these prices. And then I also, if you pay attention to the description, you're going to see some that tells you that It's actually a building. It's actually a structure on the property. And these things aren't expensive neither. But you're going to see some of this land go for $786. You're going to see some of it go for $780. You see a long list of properties that are still available. When I go back to Google Earth, if I make it that far, but when I go back to Google Earth, whether that's going to be today or later on in the week, you're going to see that I'm going to keep going to that first building because I'm using that first building as a reference pot, a reference. So you can understand, I'm using both of them. I'm using that building and I'm using those buildings that look like the project as a reference. So basically what I'm doing is going to the new building I pulled up, and then I'll zoom out and I'll let you see where that first building I looked is at, and then where the projects is at. So you can kind of tie it in together, and you can see that these things are like all in a certain area. They're not like all scattered out all over the place, meaning that these are properties that are in close proximity to one another, like a community. It's basically what I'm getting at. They're all close together like a community. And these literally, I just went down the list. It's not like I was just picking out the ones in this area. I was just going down the list whenever I get back to it. Right now, I'm just kind of scrolling down past bids because I wanted you guys to see some of the past bids so you can have an idea of the prices of the future bids. And that's me. I'm just scrolling. I'm about to come to the end of this list here pretty soon. So if you can just bear with me. Well, there it is. Bingo. I said it right in time. And then I'll be going back to these it's a little difficult to navigate for me. I'm kind of learning, and I actually had to sign in. Like, this is not for anybody. I had to create an account and stuff like that to sign in to be able to see what I see. But you can also see where they're saying that they are like selling a catalog, and the catalog is how you actually place the bid. And I was trying to find regulations for you, but it basically was saying that you really want to be a business entity, all the different types of people that they actually deal with. And one of the type of people they did not deal with was nonprofits. They didn't like nonprofits. And I can imagine why. Because they are assuming that nonprofits are going to have to get grants to repair these buildings, which means that not only are you going to get the building dirt cheap for us, but then you're going to turn around and try to get grants from us. So no, we don't even want to sell to you. We want to sell to for-profit businesses, because for-profit, they are for-profit. They ain't around hunting for grants, and that's who we selling these buildings to. Which I think right here is, if you read in the fine print, that's basically what it's saying, is we selling these businesses to people that's going to improve them. But that's when I was trying to look. I was going down through here and trying to find those regulations. Because I went here like 2 weeks ago and I fooled around with it. And like I say, it was confusing then because it seems like I'm always in a rush. I mean, to be honest, I'm always in a rush because my job leaves me very little time to do anything else. That's why we need a workers' co-op. That's why we need a workers' co-op. I'm not saying that that job is going to give me more time. What I'm saying is, at least if I'm going to be contributing the same amount of hours, the same amount of effort, it can be a better workplace. It can be better pay. And it can be something that I can improve to improve my pay. Like a lot of times it's hard to beat a raise out of these clowns. If you're being honest. So here, I don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm showing you that I'm going to St. Clair County to make sure that you understand that I'm in St. Clair County, which is East St. Louis. And I want you guys to tap in because I'm definitely not going to be able to do the houses today. Just because of the time. It's almost 10 p.m. And I'll go in an hour early on Mondays. And it's about an hour drive, and then plus I got to get ready. I just can't wake up and jump in the car and go to work, I mean, I am a black person. If you get what I mean, I got to get myself together. I mean, I am black now. So yeah, just remember these buildings here though. But yeah, I am black, so yeah, I got to go through a procedure. I just can't walk out the house. I just can't get out the bed and walk out the house, So yeah, just because I got to be at work 6 and it's an hour drive, 5. Cause see, the other days I don't even have to drive to work. It's just Mondays. Monday is the only day that I actually have to go to the office. And I don't have to start at 6 on any other day. Any other day I start at 7. But on Mondays I'll start at 6 and I have to start at the office. So Mondays are rough. So I'm normally, my alarm clock is set for like 3:45 a.m. Yeah, I'm a black person. It's like 3:45 a.m. I'm not getting up at 4:55 and jump in the car, be in the car by 5 o'clock though. Yeah, I'm not getting up and, just splash some water through my hair and out the door. No, we don't do that. So anyway, yeah, I'm back here. Yeah, like I said, I'm kind of fidgeting around, but I thought it was the easiest way to do rather than try to do it live because I definitely don't even know how to do that yet. You see, I went a whole hour with the audio off, so you can just imagine that. But this right here, this to me tell me that we could not put I mean, it needs work. It needs work. But that actually looked like, and look at this one. Now, I'm just assuming that it's wrong. I'm just assuming that it's looking at it on the wrong side of the street. I think that it was supposed to be, you're going to see that I'm going to turn the camera around to this other building. And you notice when I do, it's connected to that same building. But look at this building. This is a nice building. Look at the architecture of this building. This is something that can be pressure washed. Yeah, it needs a new roof. It's not that expensive, especially if you know what you're doing. And just for the record, I've been in home improvements, home renovations. I know electrical wiring, I know plumbing, I know, not saying that we need any welding, but it could be possible in the structure. I know welding, HVAC, I think I said electrical. I know gas plumbing, water plumbing, carpentry, construction, and I'm pretty sure other people in this co-op would have this skill set too. And us with this type of knowledge, it's not like I got to go up there and do it by myself. We teach, you see what I'm saying? We teach other people how to do. We teach other people what to do. And we're able to go in there and we're able to renovate these structures affordably. And you got to look at the combination of it. Because these buildings are dirt cheap right now at this moment, because for the lack of better words, these areas are deserted. But when first of all, once we show up, that increases the population. And then when we improve the area, it makes it more desirable. Not saying that we're selling anything, but maybe we do. But when we create businesses there, we generate revenue. We generate revenue. We invigorate other businesses, let's just say hypothetically, just to kind of show you how this works, how the economics work. There's a local supply store that's only dealing with the people that are in East St. Louis now. So because of that, he only has 3 employees. But now there's double the population. And he has more demand. And not only is it double the population, it's quadruple the business. Because even the people there, they wasn't building nothing, they wasn't improving nothing. Now the population is doubled, and plus the business supplies is flying off the shelf. So now he need more than 3 workers. Now he needs 15 workers to keep up with the demand, to be able to fulfill the demand. He needs 15 workers. Because he's making more money and he's paying other people now. He's paying 12 more people than he normally pays. And these people, they get taxes taken out of their paycheck. That goes, of course, to the city, so they happy about that. But these 12 people that's working now they can go take a lunch break at McDonald's. So now McDonald's, who's used to dealing with half the population and 4 or 5 times less the demand, they have to hire more people to make enough McDoubles to feed these guys that work at the hardware store, plus to feed us too. So they need way more. You see, we're revigorating the economy. We getting money to circulate. And now some of these people are working, just say this goes on for a year. So some of these people are working, they've been working for the hardware store for a whole year. And they be like, man, I need somewhere to stay, man. I'm tired of living in my mama's basement. I need to rent an apartment. Bingo! Bingo! You see how our economy works? Bingo! We done renovated some apartments. We got one for you. So now, that money comes to us. You see what I'm saying? Now we're being profitable. You see, we put out some money, now we get money back in. That's a small scale on how the economy becomes reinvigorated, and how we spend money, they spend money with, we spend money with everybody, they spend money with everybody, and everybody includes us too. We spend some money, they spend some money. The area becomes more desirable because people now want to move into that area. That property becomes more valuable. You see, that property that we got for $786, and then we put $50,000 into, now it's worth more than $51,000. Now it's worth $3 million. You see what I'm saying? Because it's more desirable. Because not only did we get McDonald's jumping, I mean, it's a long chain. I couldn't name everything. But you can imagine the way you would spend your money. You would spend your money, I mean, I'm not saying you're going to eat Mac doubles or whatever, but that's me. It's no good for you, but I know. Fake meat. But anyway, you're going to spend money at restaurants. You're going to spend money at the Home Depot. You're going to spend money at the clothing store. You're going to spend money at the water company, the electric company. You're going to spend money at the Walmart. You're going to spend money at the electric company. And in all these places you spending money at, this is where everybody going to be spending money at. You know, not just everybody, that's us. This whole community is going to start spending money, and this whole community is going to start thriving, and it's going to draw people into this community. Because what it's going to be like is, let me see, it's going to, just an example, because I really don't know the landscape of East St. Louis like that. But let's just say hypothetically, North St. Louis. Because it's bad all over there. It got to have a low employment rate everywhere. So now people in North St. Louis is going to be saying, hey man, they need some people. They hiring over there in East St. Louis. The Home Depot is hiring, the McDonald's is hiring, Walmart is hiring, the local car place is hiring, the mail, the post office is hiring. Man, they got a whole bunch of jobs over there. It makes the place more valuable. I'm not even talking about the properties no more, but y'all kind of get the gist. You can see, if you see, I'm kind of like circling different things with my mouse, trying to show you like this is where one place is, this is where the other place is, this is the first building I looked at, you know, here go the projects. It's that same vicinity. But these are some nice buildings that we are seeing here. But we are revitalizing this city, and we got the property dirt cheap. And now it's the place to be. And because it's the place to be, the prices ain't cheap. But we bought it up before they went up. You see what I'm saying? We bought all the stuff up before it went up. We bought the stuff up before it went up. And then we made it thrive. And now it's the place to be. Now it's the place that people want to move. And those houses that I'm going to show you later on in the week, where I'm showing you $4,000 houses and $20,000 houses. I'm going to speak on the $20,000 house. Because first of all, that's unheard of around here, where I'm from. And especially when I show you the house. But when we invigorate that house, I mean, that area, that $20,000 house, it's going to be a $400,000 house. You see, and these are big increases. I'm not talking about a $20,000 house becoming a $40,000 house. Did you hear what I said? A $20,000 house becoming a $400,000 house. See, because I don't know where y'all from, but where I'm from, it's a housing crisis. From my understanding, everywhere else in the U.S., we're having a problem with the affordability of housing. This is a place that don't have that problem. They don't have that problem. They have the opposite problem. They can't sell them. That's the problem they got. The other ones, you can't, everywhere else you can't find them, but in this location they can't sell them. Because it's hard to sell them, because who gonna buy it when they can't get a job around the area? And it ain't no jobs in the area because it ain't no people in the area. It's that system that I'm gonna get into talking about one day, about how it's a cycle. And a lot of us are stuck into it. And the system goes kind of, it's like a recurring cycle. It's like a circle that goes round and round. It's basically like, when you are poor, the next step is to be uneducated. Wait, hold on, let me restart it. I missed the most important part. When there are no jobs, the next step is to be poor. And then when you're poor, the next step is to be uneducated. And then to be uneducated, usually has to do because you're unemployed, no job. And then you don't have no job. You see how it just repeats? No job means that you're poor. And then you're poor, it's a higher chance of being uneducated. And if you can fix one thing in that loop, it changes the outcome of the loop. If you can change the job, you can get a job, then you're not necessarily poor. It's a better chance that you become educated, and then you have a job. You see, you change. If you can change one of those things, it don't have to be the job. It could be the education, or it could be the poor. Maybe you hit the jackpot or something. But this is evidence. This is like nothing I'm making up. This is like evidence. There are systematic loops. And if you can fix one problem in the loop, it changes the outcome of every other step behind it. And that's what I'm talking about, the worker co-op. That's what that does. That changes something in the loop. But anyway, I think I kind of dropped the ball today because I talked for a whole hour. I said all of the good stuff the right way. I said everything the way that I needed to say it in that first hour. And then once I realized my mic wasn't on, I tried to force everything after that. I tried to recall everything and kind of force it and kind of regurgitate it. And to be honest, it wasn't coming out right. Because that's all I was doing was looking at the time slipping up on me and trying to figure out how to get it regurgitated, how to cover the same grounds in lesser time. And it had me stumbling over everything. So, I'm going to try it again. That's the good thing, is I'm determined to get the message out. Again, thank you, Jamarius Kersey. I wonder if that's some of my kin folks every time I say that. But anyway, I'm going to continue to get the message out. I'm going to continue to make sure we understand what the importance of this worker co-op is. I'm going to leave again before I sign off. I just want to kind of go over what I am trying to accomplish here, right now, at this moment in time. Uh, what is the next step that I'm actually trying to accomplish? What I'm trying to do is find individuals here in North Carolina, in the Triangle, in the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area, that are down with the whole Black Wall Street initiative, creating a Black Wall Street, that are down with that, that are Black Americans whose ancestors worked for free to build this country, to help build this country's economy without compensation. I'm looking for those type of individuals that want to be down with the Black Wall Street Initiative in East St. Louis, like what I'm showing property on right now, as well as to continue building Black Wall Streets all across the United States. We're trying to go out and get it. We're not looking for nobody to hand it to us. But we're taking it one step at a time. So the first step that I am suggesting, and I think it's the best step that we can take, is to start right here in the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area and create a Black Wall Street. What I'm looking for right now is a very simple ask. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for time at this moment. I'm just asking for suggestions and just a reply if you want to be part of it. But just suggestions on what we should do. Suggestions on what we should do. I'm not asking anybody to flee the plantation yet. I'm just asking, let me talk about it. Let me suggest it to you that we escape the plantation. Let me suggest it to you. I have a way that we can escape the plantation. And if you are willing to talk and discuss with me, we can figure out how to get off the plantation. We can figure out how to escape and take advantage of the capitalistic society that we live in. And to me, the first step is this worker co-op where every member is an owner and has an equal say, an equal vote. Worker co-ops tend to be paid better than the same job owned by a single owner. Same work, better pay, better structure. Because you make the rules. We make the rules. We're the owners. It's more likely to be improved because everybody cares about it. So that's what I'm asking right now at this time, is let's just talk about it. And even the people that are not nowhere near, because I'm not asking anybody to travel to North Carolina or nothing like that, not unless that's something you want to do, something you already had in the mix, but I'm not asking anybody to do that. This is the problem solver. This is the way that I found not to ask everybody to have to travel to East St. Louis. This is the problem solver that I found for people that's outside of the 800-mile radius of St. Louis, East St. Louis, how they still can be involved. How we can accomplish what we're trying to accomplish without leaving anybody out. But North Carolina is ground zero because this is where I'm at. I mean, I think that's fair. I think I'm here. I've come up with the idea. I'm talking. I'm trying to get it going. Let me get it going. Don't make me travel across the globe to get it going when it can be done right here at my doorstep to create a prototype. I'm not asking anybody to give me money, but I'm not even talking about money right now. But even when we talk about money, I'm still not going to be talking about give me money. But we're not even talking about money right now. But for those of you that are outside of the area, there's nowhere in North Carolina or around North Carolina, you still can help out. You can share, you can like, you can this video, get it in the algorithms, but also suggestions. Because one of the first things we need is an idea. We need an idea of what we can do. What type of business can we build here in North Carolina? Or do we buy an existing business that's here in North Carolina? I mean, it's a couple ways that we can go about it. We can buy a building, a business that's already exists, that is for sale, or we can start from scratch and build our own business. Either way, there are both options, but I'm saying let's talk about it. And for everybody to give me suggestions on what they think would be a good way to start. And then this is going to be an ecosystem. I'm just going to throw that in right quick. It's going to be an ecosystem. It's going to be where we have these smaller worker co-ops under one large umbrella, but they're all across the United States. You can kind of look at them like chapters. You know, like when you look at the Nation of Islam or whatever, they have like a chapter. They have the main chapter, and then they have all these other chapters around. That's what this is. That's what this first worker co-op is. It's just a chapter. We're going to have other chapters. But right here, we're trying to create the prototype. Yeah, right now we're trying to create, it didn't start it over, didn't it? But right now, yeah, we're trying to create the prototype, work the kinks out of it right now, so we can get this on and popping. And also, I already explained why it was important that we have a business entity, because that's how we can take advantage of some of this property down in East St. Louis. So I hope I grabbed some people's attention. Once this video get through processing, I'll go back and I'll cut off that first hour where nobody could hear me. But I'll have time to make it up, because like I say, I'm going to keep on talking about this until people understand what the plan is. Because maybe I'm leaving something out, but I'm going to keep on at this until people understand. Because to be honest, this is actually, it's like a revelation for me, this process. At first, when I first got into it, when I first thought about this idea of the East St. Louis, I mean, I've always wanted black people to work together. First of all, let me say that. But it was something that I wanted. So I guess you can say I was kind of looking at it selfish. It was something that I wanted. I wanted the peace. I wanted the security. I wanted the safety of being in a community where there were pro-black people that cared about their neighborhood and cared about black economics. And I was like, well, since that's what I want, I'm going to try to design it. But I was very selfish in my thinking when I look back on it. But as I kept going, it felt like, this is no longer about being a content creator. It's no longer about trying to be monetized. It's not about people trying to get people to watch to be entertained. This is your purpose. This is what you was designed to do. This is what you were put here. I mean, you've been looking a whole lifetime and wondering what the purpose was that you were put on this earth. And there were times that you thought it was this, and there were times that I thought it was that. But I swear, man, this is what I believe that I was put on this earth to do. I'm telling you, I be having dreams about it, man, and I don't want to get too... I'm not a religious person, first of all. Let me say that. But I'm telling you, man, I have this energy. I hear... It's like someone is telling me. That's about the best way I can explain it. Someone is telling me that this is what you're supposed to do. Nobody physical. But someone is telling me this is what you're supposed to do. That you are Noah. Black Wall Street is the ark. And the flood is coming. And your job is to lead people to the ark. To get them to understand that they need to get on the ark. Their survival is dependent on it. So I'm going to try to live up to that. That's really just the bottom line. That's what I'm going to try to live up to. I think that this is my life's mission. So whether I do it wrong or right, that's what I honestly believe. So, this is your man T Can. And thank you for tuning in to Royal Black. And until next time.